All right, welcome in, Dr. Ray Pastore. When you are ready, you can start sharing. I'm interested to hear what you have to say about AI as we are together working on a project relating to it.
Yes. Let me know when I'm good. I'll start.
I think you're good. Go for it.
All right, cool. Hey, welcome everybody. My name is Ray Pastore. I am a professor of instructional technology at the University of North Carolina, Wilmington. I am also the esports league lead for my college. I have been the esports lead since we formed the esports program at my university since 2019. And I've been a professor in instructional technology for, this is year 16 for me. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk about the ways that AI has been and is currently being used in competitive gaming. I'm going to give you lots of examples of the way that my students, my teams are using it as I go through the different ways that it's happening and being used. So let's kind of go. All right, so just to start, the first thing I want to do real quick before I get into what we're actually, the kinds of stuff that we are doing, is just to make sure that whoever's watching this understands where I'm coming from when I'm talking about the kinds of stuff that AI is. So I just want to very, very briefly define it. So first of all, AI is not new. A lot of people seem to have this idea that AI came out when ChatGPT did. That is not true. We've had various forms of AI come out for many, many, many decades, like 50 to 70 years ago. We started to form the backbone of what is today's AI. It's gotten progressively better, but typically when we're defining AI, if you look in the literature, there are a number of different ways that we define it. I tend to look at it in three different areas, which are simple, advanced, and theoretical. Simple is the AI that we have had for many, many, many years, such as Microsoft Spell Check, chatbots like Siri and Alexa, simple non-playing characters in games that we've all played against bots before. I have a picture of Mac chess where you can play the computer in like 1985 on the screen here. And then we finally got more advanced to generative AI, which is the ability to actually have AI generate content. I have a picture here of Ultimate Esports Coach, GPT, and all these new services that are being launched with the creation of generative AI. And then we have a final version of AI, which is more self-reliant thinking, has the cognitive ability better than humans, and does not rely on our commands to do stuff. As of right now, that is theoretical. We are not close to it. And that in some ways, that's what some people consider like real AI. And we don't have that yet. But we do have a lot of stuff that's changed over the last few years. And I'm going to talk about like how we're using it really, the stuff that we're doing, the kind of tools that are available. So some of the things that we've been doing for decades in games, we have been looking at timers, drops, spawns. We've been testing the design of the game, like can I jump through a wall, looking for every single exploit. We've been analyzing strategies, looking for the quickest ways to do things in speed runs or take down a character. What's the most efficient thing we can do? We have been drawing maps, creating maps, looking at each map from a top-down bird's eye view to figure out the best strategy to hide, to seek, to chase, to do whatever the objective of the game is. We have developed tier lists after tier lists of items, characters to figure out what's the meta, what's the best. We have had professional coaching. We've had all kinds of tutorials. So we've been doing a ton of stuff without the use of really AI or any kind of sophisticated technology for many, many, many years. I mean, up on the picture on the screen here that I have, the top one is a picture of, that's Halo 3 in a map called the Pit. That's invisibility. So like just knowing when that spawns every 3 minutes is the kind of knowledge that we've always had. On the bottom of the screen, I have an add-on for World of Warcraft, for those who've ever played it. That's a DPS meter. So you can see which character, who, when is doing how much damage. So we've had a lot of information for us already in the last few decades. As we play games, as we play competitively, we've had lots of information already. However, generative AI, so I went from that simple to advanced, has significantly changed the kind of stuff we're doing. And I wouldn't even say that it's necessarily all ChatGPT. Since like 2018, 19, 20, we've seen significant advancements in the way that we are responding to new information, the kinds of stuff that we're able to get and do. You know, it used to take us a long time to map out a map in a video game and find the best and most efficient routes. And right now, with tools that are coming out, we can do that in 1 second. It's just happening, this large scale data analysis. We have all these new tools coming out, like Mobialytics for League of Legends, which is a tool I personally use and play with. Tools helping us with decision making, even people creating their own software, which is some of the things that some of my students are doing, which I'm going to talk about as I get into the next screen, because I want to talk about all the different stuff that we are doing, stuff that's just readily available to everybody out there. You can see the picture on the screen. There's just AI tools coming out left and right now, like let us analyze your gameplay, discover winning strategies. It's happening for everyone. So first thing is team scouting. You know, we've been able to look at a team. If I knew there was a match coming up, I'm able to look at the team we're going to play against and see like the basic stuff about them. And you always want to do that to win, but it's not that I can just scout a team now and look at their play style and their win rate and their success rate. I can create a simple piece of software. And by create, I mean vibe code, or I can purchase to analyze just their entire, every piece of information available about that team. Super quick. You can see the picture up on the screen here is Mobialytics, which does this automatically. Just lets me analyze everything about them, what they prefer, where they prefer to do things. This is League of Legends picture, which is a game I play a lot. Like what do they typically do first as a team? Like what is their jungle? Where do they typically gank? I can start to see all this information super quick, fast, lots of it. I can go into deep player analysis. If I'm playing a position on a team, I can look at the person playing the opposite position and really deep dive into what they do well. And this is all stuff that everybody is doing right now because it's readily available to us. And I'm going to talk about like where this is headed. But this is the stuff we're doing already. This is just readily available software out there that's doing this kind of stuff every time we pick up a video game. We are able to do this stuff if we choose to. We can look at the real-time matchups. This is just more stats. And this is the kind of stuff sports do too. Like, you know, we do this like real-time matchup when we're like, you know, when, for example, in sports in the Super Bowl, you see like all day on TV, they talk about like all the players and what they do well and what they think. And there's all this background statistics happening with Vegas betting and what the odds are going to be and stuff. And that's great, but that's the Super Bowl. It's like, you know, one of the biggest sports in the United States happening, a big event. We can get those kind of statistics now in 1 second on against our opposing team. Like when my team's playing UNC Charlotte or NC State or any of the schools around my area, like we can get pull that kind of information right away. I'm not saying that's bad or anything. I'm not trying to point it in a negative light. I'm just saying this is what we're doing already. We are doing this. Like we are analyzing the other team. You have to, when you know who they are and you have time to do it. But when we start to get into, you know, more questionable things, we get into in-game decisions. If I'm playing League of Legends, which I have up on the screen, and the reason I use League of Legends a lot is because it's one of the more popular esports games. It's a game that I have played for 12 years. I'm very, very, very familiar, so I can explain like anything happening in the game, what's going on. But in the middle of a game, the AI system telling me what I should build, like which weapon should I buy based on how well I'm doing, based on if my team's ahead or behind, based on how the other team's doing, based on who I'm matched up against, based on what's going on. it's pulling away things that I used to have to do. Like to play League of Legends, you have to know everything about every single champ. It's like studying forever. It's like having a PhD in League of Legends. AI can now help me make those decisions for me without me having to have that knowledge in the background in my head. It's helping me make those decisions. And if my knowledge is flawed, hopefully the AI system is correct and it's telling me what to do. So it's creating some interesting gameplay by doing that. Just as some examples, the map up on the screen is telling me where I should be ganking right now as a jungle in League of Legends. Green means like go. Their player is really gankable. They're probably pushed too far forward. Now's a good time. Mid and bottom are not where you want to be. It's telling me in game what I should be doing. Not only that, on the right-hand picture here, it's literally giving me strategy, how to play against the player. So it's not just data and statistics. It's literally giving me advice on how to play against the player I'm playing against or the team I'm playing against. In 1 second, it's giving us this advice. This is all stuff that's information that's free for every team. So everyone, you have to use this stuff now to be competitive. You need every single advantage that you can get. But just imagine like where this is going. And I start to talk about like where this is going. When we start talking about like real-time predictions, as data comes in and tells me, well, if you buy this one item, you have a 35% chance to win the game. If you buy this other item, you have a 42% chance to win the game, just as an example. So it's helping us really break down data so quickly that it's coaching us through our gameplay. All right. It's helping us with, so we are using it a lot for training. You can see I have one of the first person shooter bot games that you can practice your aim, like an aim training. We're using it a lot for training for things like that. We can all kinds of set different kinds of play styles. And where we start to question is, can we, as these training programs get better, are we going to be able to match it up to our opponent's play style a little better? It's helping us with match analysis. We can really go through. The computer just tells us in 1 second, software tells us all the things we did right and wrong that match. Here are the things you didn't do. Here are the things you did great. Here's what you need to work on to improve your win rate. It's telling us what to do. So helping us with training. So some really great stuff. It's also helping us with recovery and all the health metrics and all the things that go into being a better gamer, which is interesting. It's helping us, analyze what we're doing with any smart device that we have now. We can wake up and it can tell us all the things I did the previous day. It'll tell me like good, bad, like green, red, yellow. Did I do good stuff, bad stuff? What's happening when I'm training? Now, where this starts to become interesting with AI is it's starting to create, what are we trying to create here? I have this picture here of Ivan Drago from Rocky IV, where he was like, taking PEDs and they were trying to create the perfect human boxer. Is that where we're headed with sports and gameplay as we start to analyze all this data that we're going to be capturing? It opens the door for things that are going to start to happen, like more PED use than is already happening in the industry. So it just does all this stuff. It's giving us these abilities that we did not have before for good and bad. It's giving us that real-time ability to go in, analyze, and look at things. And we are doing it. We are looking at maps. I have students who are going in, pulling up maps of games that don't have software like Moby Analytics. So the software that I was showing you guys, Moby Analytics for League of Legends, does a lot of this stuff automatically. But a game like Apex Legends, we don't really have that just yet as good as it is for League of Legends and other games out there. So I have students creating, self-creating software that does this kind of stuff. Why? Because AI is helping us vibe code it and create it very quick. It's also helping us analyze the data really quick. So we're able to look at maps, start to determine different drop rates, look at where you spawn on the map, if that determines your win rate of the game, where, if you're moving to certain areas, are helping you win. And really anything we ask it, we can start to analyze super quick in ways that we never could have imagined 10 years ago doing. 10 years ago, it required significant amounts of videos and people sharing information to find out what the best strategy is. Whereas now we're able to do it in very, very, very short amount of time. And this isn't just happening with us. These aren't the kinds of questions we're asking and the kinds of things. We're not alone here. This is happening in sports at a way more advanced rate than esports right now, especially at the professional level, because there is so much money on the line. It is happening significantly with sports. We're getting to this weird point in sports where it's going to be who has the best AI coach. And this, and I have here, this isn't just an issue for esports, but one of the reasons we take it a little more to heart is our games are built on this code. So while AI can predict a lot for sports, it's not going to be able to predict, like, if a player all of a sudden has a better jump than they've ever had before, because our games are built on code. So there's only so much you can exploit. You can't make a guy jump higher than the game physically allows unless they are cheating in some way. So AI is going to be able to be a lot more precise in the strategies and coaching that it's creating for video games than for traditional sports. And what it does is it creates this meta optimizer. And that's really what it is. It's a meta optimizer. For those that aren't familiar with what that means, when you're talking about, like, what's the meta, it's like what's the best right now based on the current information that the game is providing. So like every time there's a new patch for a game, the meta potentially changes. And that means, like, who are the best players in support or whatever role they're playing? Who are the best? Who have the highest win rate? Who have the most success on different maps? What it's doing is it's creating this system where we're only going to be picking the best. This has been a problem in video games for probably the last 15 years, but it took us time to figure out what the meta is. Now with AI, it's being much more precise in what that meta is. And the problem we start to run into is we're just going to be watching the meta. And it's already happening in esports. We're already doing, this isn't stuff I'm like predicting is happening. This is what we are doing already. We are following this meta based on data analysis already. So we start to get to these questions like, is this good or a bad thing? And what, for those things that are bad, like how do we monitor them? And what is this difference between using this stuff in training versus like using it in a match? Like, can I use an AI coach in a match? Like, since it's available, like, can I have Mobialytics turned on when I'm playing in a NACE tournament or NECC or one of the collegiate tourns? Like, are they going to allow me to have this kind of software running? Versus when I'm just playing with my friends and I can have it open because the publishers allowing me to do it. So there's this disconnect between, training, competition, publisher, and leagues. And then, the real question becomes like, what is our end goal? Like, what are we going to try to do here? So it's becoming, what's going to happen is that there's going to be this competition to see who has the best training analysis, the best AI assistant, who can build it. Like right now, I can tell you my teams are building, I have players building stuff to help them figure out data better. And I'm sure every school has players doing things that are similar. But there's also companies out there doing it too. So what's eventually going to happen is we're all just going to have, there's going to be like software that's just the best that everyone has. And so what's going to happen to esports when it's just, we're all just listening to statistics of telling us what move to make next, to go right or left, and becomes this decision tree of, if you go right, you have a 60% win, you go left, you have a 40% chance to win. So are we going to come down to this decision tree of, is that what the end goal is for esports? Like, is that where we're headed with this? And some of the questions that come about, we talk about like the morality and ethics of this. Is this any different than maybe having the best coach or the best training facilities, or making sure your players get the correct amount of sleep, or doing some new kind of conditioning? Like, these are the questions we're going to start asking ourselves. And the biggest problems we're going to have with this is cheating. It's going to lead to boring meta gameplay. It's going to lead to best players might not win. The people who have access to the best data might become pay as you pay to play. And it's going to lead to bad sportsmanship. We already see it in games, like down by one CS in League of Legends, like down by one little kill from a minion, and people are already saying good game, like game's over. Like in chess, you make one bad move, AI is going to say like you have a 99% chance of losing now. So is that, we're not even going to watch a match, it's just going to be good game right away? Like, is that what we're coming down to? We got to think about like, what are the end goals and how are we going to prevent cheating? So you get to this ethical and competitive concerns, like where does AI support cross the line? Transparency versus secrecy in coaching. Like, am I able to pull player data and create training maps based on how someone's playing so we can practice playing against them, a bot that's similar to their play style? Should in-game AI support be banned in tournaments, in the collegiate scene, in the professional scene? Like, and this difference of between publishers and leagues, like how are we going to start to monitor that? Because basically what we're going to do is we're going to get to this, if we say it's illegal, are the publishers going to detect against it, or are the leagues going to detect against it? And it's just going to be like playing whack-a-mole while people try to exploit those, because there's always cheating in all events. I'm not saying every single tournament has someone cheating, but in general, like in the professional scene, in a collegiate scene, there are going to be players or teams that aren't necessarily playing by the rules. So just to wrap up, there's a lot of good things this is doing. It's really helping us do a lot of data analysis and see things in ways that we never have before. It's helping game developers develop games quicker, but there's definitely like do we want people being coached in game on what's happening in competitive games? And so there are some questions here. Which do people see as more or less ethical? Do they view generative AI different than traditional AI? Yes, I think they do, because I don't think people think of traditional AI as AI. I think a lot of us, even my generation, has grown up with it. Like, we grew up with Microsoft spell check. So no one questions using spell check to write a book. They just say no AI writing a book. And it's like, well, what do you mean by that? And what they mean is generative. So I think people do have more of a problem with generative than normal. And yes, we are in the process of creating ethical guidelines, which I tried to keep that out of this presentation. That's kind of like a next step. Based on your AI survey, did you discover that it is in fact specific? So we're in the process of analyzing the data of the survey right now. So we're not there just yet. We are.
Ray, can you read the questions, because people can't see the chat?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So someone asked, based on your AI survey with Dr. Seth Jenny, did you discover that is it in fact contentious? Specifically, what aspects? And basically that we're in data analysis right now. We're still analyzing the data. And someone asked, what platform did you use to analyze this data? So we're in the process of analyzing the data for that survey right now. But the software that my students are using is all over the place. We're using Excel. We are using tools like Mobi Analytics. There's a bunch of other ones out there too. I've got students creating software specifically for Apex Legends to help them analyze the maps better, to help them figure out strategies in game, to help them figure out strategies just for playing against a specific team. So it is, and these are tools that they've personally just developed. So it's really, really becoming a very common phenomenon right now. And we need to determine like where that line is. Like it's great for training. Like I think all that's great. They want to do data analysis, fine. But in game, telling you when to buy and what to buy and how to move and where to go, I think there's a line there that will be pretty clear.
I'm going to read you this question from Overlord_K. How has the performance of teams and players increased with the introduction of data analytics?
Can you repeat that for me?
How has the performance of teams or players increased with the introduction of data analytics?
I think it's improved significantly, and I think it's going to continue because it helps you form your strategy beforehand. As far as like my specific teams, we're doing really well. Like we are winning. We won our NACC division and national championship last year. We just won a division in we just won a tournament in South Carolina this weekend. We placed first and third with 2 teams there. But we also have coaches and we have lots of other things, dedicated players, lots of practice. So is this helping? It's like anything else. It's like, does good sleep help? Yes. Is it the only thing that helps? No. It's just part of that equation of yes, it is going to help. Every bit of data that you have, when you know that buying one weapon in a game only has a 40% win rate and another has an 80%, then you're going to go with the 80%, and that's going to slowly over time help you win more games.
I'll ask you a question here. Based upon some of the early findings that we've have, anything jump out at you as surprising or think something you hadn't thought of relating to developing the world AI esports ethics guidelines?
I don't think anything's jumped out at me so far in the data analysis, other than I'm surprised I don't think all of the issues have been brought up. I think that's maybe one of my bigger surprises. I don't think everything's been brought up so far. And we haven't finished the data analysis, so that all might come to light. But I think there are issues that are out there that are important, that are big, that just haven't come out of that data set yet.
All right. Any final last words?
No, I'm good. If anyone has any questions, always feel free to email me. And more than happy to talk about this stuff. More than happy to even connect you with my players that are developing this kind of stuff.
Great. Feel free to stick around and interact in the chat, the Twitch chat. Thank you, Dr. Ray Pastore. You can stop sharing your screen, and then we will get prepared for the next presentation. And let me pull up the schedule here. We have Dr. Matt Knutson coming to talk about, we'll check the schedule and I'll let you know what the